Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show. What are the secrets to being wealthy, healthy, and wise? For the next hour, Jeff goes beyond the headlines to discuss what's trending with today's movers, shakers, and newsmakers. And now, here's Jeff Crilley.
Welcome back to the Jeff Crilley Show. Anybody who is in business has got to hear this next segment. My guest is Cassidy. She is a business coach. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
Now, we were talking during the break that millennials especially need this service, but you work with all ages.
Yes, we do. I would say any professional could benefit from a boost to communication skills. You know, I mean, think about it. In business, it's how we get things done, by communicating. And yet, you know what kind of I find funny? Most people think they have excellent communication skills, right? I mean, I bet if you see resumes, they'll say excellent communication skills. But how do we really know if everyone says you're good at it? I think we all can use a little refresher at different times as well as a boost at other times.
If they say I have gooder grammar on their resume, that's probably a sign. So what are some of the big mistakes that you find people make in business?
Well, I think it's easy to assume we've got that communication skill covered. Mm-hmm. And we often overlook it because we're so busy working. So one of the things that I think happens is that we lose sight of clear points. Or how about this? Would you relate to this, Jeff? So let's say, well, I really don't want to have to talk to that person. I'll just send them an email or I'll text them. Mm-hmm. And so we don't really get face-to-face. And yet every leader needs to be able to speak to people at a meeting in a presentation.
Absolutely.
And but it kind of gets overlooked and lost in the shuffle. Another interesting thing to share with you, Warren Bennis, who is a pioneer in the field of leadership studies, he actually did an interesting survey where he took graduates of the top schools, mm-hmm. like Harvard and Yale. Mm-hmm. Then he followed them in the workplace for 5 years. And then he interviewed them and asked them clearly, what do you feel that you should have gotten training on when you were in school, but you didn't? And they answered easily, communication skills.
Wow.
I don't know how to write very well. I don't know how to present. And, you know, even with so many of us kind of hiding behind the electronic device today,
yes,
there's also a problem of going to a meeting that is so boring. And you're wondering, why am I even here? What is the point? Am I supposed to do something? You know, I mean, so these are the kind of things that we tackle. Now, I did want to mention, we have a new workshop. So I work for a company, Boer Consultants.
Okay.
We were founded in 1980.
Okay.
I have spent more than 23 years working with the company. And we have fabulous intellectual property that was designed by our founder. And it is really concrete skills and techniques to help you boost your presence.
Wow.
And we have a new workshop that I wanted to mention. It's going to be on February 21st in Plano, and you can go to our website to sign up for it. But this workshop is going to be a refresher, or it might be good lessons on important communication skills that every leader needs.
You mentioned your website. What is the website?
It is Boer.com.
And how do you spell that?
BOOHER.com. And you can always reach us by email at info@boer.com.
Well, I'm going to bring my daughter in because she's a millennial, 27 years old. Sarah?
Millennial that loves technology. So, Christine, help me. What are some of these basic tips that I need to know to be successful in business?
Well, as we were chatting before we started, Sarah,
Yes.
she was so cute because she mentioned that she often goes to meetings and is texting during the meeting, or doing work or researching and not really paying attention to what's going on in the meeting. This is probably not a good idea.
Yes.
You know, we need to give ourselves full attention to what we're doing. But I wanted to mention a little more about the workshop because it's really will nail a lot of the things that I think would help you, Sarah, as well as I say, any professional, any leader who is trying to improve their skills or refresh. So what we're going to cover in this one-day session, we're going to talk about thinking on your feet. Because isn't that tricky? Like, just when I want to impress you with my answer.
We call it tap dancing, don't we, Jeff?
Yes, we ramble all over the place. So we have a terrific structure that you can use to keep yourself targeted, and it actually helps you be more persuasive.
That's awesome.
It is. It's really awesome. But other things that the workshop will do, we're going to talk about listening, a skill we all take for granted.
I'm sorry, what was that?
That's it. We're going to talk about improving your listening capacity and resolving conflicts because, hey, we all work together and live together and conflicts arise. And what do you do?
I know that right now we have 4 generations in the workplace. We've got baby boomers, we've got the Gen Xers, the Gen Ys, and even the Gen Zs that grew up with an iPhone in their hands. How do you relate to the different generations in the workplace, and how can they all benefit from going to one of your workshops?
Well, I think these tips apply across the board. I really have not ever had a young person say to me, this doesn't work. I can't possibly use this. Because aren't we always looking to boost our credibility and our presence in front of people? And I think that's ageless.
Absolutely.
I don't think that we can say that's irrelevant for some.
Yes. So now, do you also come into companies and do one-on-one coaching, or is it all workshop-based?
Yeah, no, we do offer, we do speeches at larger organizations, and we do coaching, absolutely, for executives that are often too busy to take advantage of the workshops. And so we definitely go in. Jeff, I've traveled all over the world. I'm very happy to say I love my job. And I sure hope to see some of you out at our workshop on February 21. You can just go to the website to sign up.
That's great. So, and I know that a lot of people who are in a position of being the boss got there almost accidentally. They hung out too long at the job and they kept getting promoted, but they never took a management course. They never took a speaking course or a leadership course. Are those the kind of people who could benefit from coming to one of your workshops?
Absolutely. You bet. And you know what's interesting is there was a study done at UCLA of a speaker's total impact. So you have someone who is talking in front of you, and if you think about it, there's 3 ways that they're going to influence you. One is by their visual presence, the second is with their voice quality, and the third is with their content, right? That's the total package.
Right.
Which would you guess is the most important for people listening? What percentage, what would you guess? What's the most important thing there? Is it your visual presence, your voice quality, or the content?
Well, I would ask Sarah to answer that, but she was busy texting and wasn't
Tagging her on Facebook, Booer Consultants. I think it's a mix of all of it. I mean, how are people going to take you seriously if you don't look the part? You got to look at the part and have the part, right?
That's absolutely true.
That's thinking on your feet, Sarah.
Very nice. I know it, Sarah. Good job. And what we find, though, is most people think that content is going to be the most important. And isn't that, if you had to do some sort of presentation, that's where everyone spends all their time.
Yes.
I'm going to spend it on the content. But what's fascinating is the study that UCLA did showed how important your voice is and visually, that they are equally important. It all does work together. But just think, often in a business environment, folks they don't have time, and all they do is prepare content, and boy, I'm just going to wing it. Hope it goes well. and they're missing out. A lot of times we're working with our clients to help them match good content with their body language.
Yes.
Because a lot of times they don't go together very well.
Wow, that's important. What else can they learn at your workshop?
Well, how about I'll give you a couple listening tips.
Ooh, we like that.
Yeah, and I know it's one of those things, well, hey, I know how to listen. But the biggest listening tip, our founder who has written 40 books, Diana, she did a big book tour and she traveled all over the world. And she kept being asked over and over again, what is your most important listening tip? And she would say, decide you want to listen.
Wow.
It's often that simple, isn't it? Because we're multitasking and sort of half listening, but no, I'm going to give you my attention. Another one I really like is that we listen for feelings as well as facts.
Explain that.
So often, we're human. We have a lot of emotions that go on. We're not just listening for analytical advice,
Yes.
but often we have some emotions that are wanting to come out
Yes.
and to be understood. And the more a leader can do that for their employees, I think the more successful they can be.
So does that involve asking questions? So if
Yes,
somebody comes in
exactly.
and you can tell there's something, their emotion behind the words.
That's right.
Then what does the leader do?
Sometimes it's commenting on body language.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it might involve reflective listening, which is a lot of folks, you hear that phrase, and a lot of folks think that means to parrot back exactly what you just heard. And that's not it. It's more drawing conclusions and asking questions. And are we on the same page about this? Or sometimes it's even, how are you feeling about this decision? And I think the more we can get people to talk and share, the better off it is. We all like to feel heard.
I think that's amazing, and it probably applies in the home as well, doesn't it?
It's very true. This is, typically my clients are corporations around the world, but it's also true you can use these things in your personal life. There's no doubt.
Wow, you've been a great guest. Give us the website and please spell it one more time.
Sure. It's Booher, BOOHER.com.
And they can sign up for that website.
They can sign up for the workshop at the website, and also feel free to send an email if you'd like, and even just at info@booher.com, and we'll get back to you.
Outstanding.
Thanks so
You've
much,
been a great
Jeff.
guest.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Uh-huh.
Coming up next, a great way to pay honor to our wounded warriors and American heroes in a very unique way. That's Jeff Crilley Show.
More of the Jeff Crilley Show coming up.